everyone. My name is Rebecca Perryman, and this is
Brianna Williamson.
And we are here today to answer your questions from our previous week where we talked about what we believe about the cross. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, Miss Brianna, will you draw our first question?
All right, let's see. First question is the story of the cross relevant today?
Is the story of the cross relevant today? And I would say it's a yes or no question, but obviously we would want to share a little more. But yes, ultimately, yes, it is. I would say it's the most relevant story that we can know and live out. But why is it relevant? I guess would probably be a good thing to talk about. I think it's because it's personal. Yeah. And you were saying earlier, about the Old Testament, how everything points to the cross.
Yeah. Everything. That's the whole story of the Bible. That's the point that is the focus of it all.
Yeah. So we have the Old Testament where everything is pointing up to this major moment. This major moment happens, and then you have the New Testament of the Bible where everything is about telling people about the cross and what Jesus did. And then the whole point of the Old Testament or the New Testament is for people like us to continue that story and to continue sharing it. And it's relevant because it's a story about all people, all God's children, and a way for everyone to be included in that story. So I would say yes, it is very relevant. All right, I will draw the next one. Are you ready?
I think so.
Okay. What does the cross mean for me, or you, or them that we're watching? What does the cross mean?
I think, obviously the cross, it is a symbol, but it's more than just, there's a lot more to it than that. It is, a lot of people, you see it everywhere. It's really common to put a cross up, in your home. But you really have to focus on the meaning behind it. And yes, it does represent death, but it was the death of Jesus. And that is a beautiful thing. And I think when I look at the cross, to me it just reminds me that there's a God who loves me and sent his son to die for me.
Yeah. I think that's it. It's the cross, we it seems like such a sad story, but also we know how the story ends. And it ends with the resurrection, which we will talk about more next week. But ultimately, when I see the cross and I think, well, what does this mean for me? It means somebody thought I was worth dying for. Somebody thought you were worth dying for, that we were worth dying for. And when they were up on the cross, when Jesus was up on the cross, he saw me, he saw you, he saw our names, and he said that we were worth it. And he didn't deserve that death. And that is the part that's hard and that it weighs on you. He's he died for me and he didn't deserve it. He was innocent. But he still chose to bear the cross for us, to endure the cross because we were the joy set before him. And he saw us and love held him there. I think it's just a beautiful way to look at the cross. And it is a question, I like this question because it's a personal question and the cross is personal.
Yeah.
And so we would want to encourage whoever is watching, take that question and just ask God, what does the cross mean for me personally? Because he saw you, he saw us up on that cross and he said, they're worth it. All right, last question.
All right.
What do we got?
I'll read it for us, and it says, did Jesus really have to carry his own cross?
Did he? You looked this up.
Yeah.
Did
he? He did for a while, but he also had help. And I think the guy who helped him out, his name was Simon. We think.
There's a lot of Simons in the Bible. So, but we're pretty sure his name was Simon.
Yeah, I think his name was Simon. And so, Jesus, he did. But the beautiful thing is that he had help. So even, when he was, given this big task of dying for us, there were still people helping him. And so even Jesus, he probably could have done it alone, but he didn't have to.
Yeah. Jesus is God. So he could have just held it with one hand, walked up almighty, but he didn't do that because he was enduring the suffering, enduring the pain. He was fully man and fully God. And so he wanted, he felt everything we would have felt. And he got to a point on the road of, the road to the cross, and there's a name for that road, and I'm blanking on it. But he's walking that road, and it does. The cross just becomes heavy, and he's falling, and he's stumbling, and he can't. It seems as if he can't keep going. We know that he is God, that he could have, but God, his Father, saw his Son, and he allowed his Son to not have to finish that alone. He still hung on the cross. Obviously, and suffered the ultimate suffering, but there was a point where, yes, Simon came along and helped him. I think the metaphor in that story that's so beautiful is that we are not called to carry our burdens alone, and that we are called to unite together. And obviously that moment is probably a lot more impactful for Simon than it was for Jesus. And just that Simon got to be someone to walk that part of that story with Jesus, and how that impacted his life and the people that knew him, was probably just huge testimony for him. But ultimately, no, he didn't. And God also, I think another beautiful thing is just God saw his Son in a moment where he was suffering, and it allowed him to have somebody to walk with him, even though Jesus was not alone. There's just something beautiful in that. It's like we are never alone, right? Like we're never, in our sufferings, we're never alone. We always have God. God is always with us. He never abandons us. But sometimes as humans, don't we feel like we just need a person, right?
Yeah.
Like we need someone to carry the weight a little bit. And we have to remember, Jesus was fully man as much as he was fully God. And he felt what we feel. And God gave a person for him to help him.
Yeah, I know that I'm guilty of that sometimes, just feeling like I have to carry all my own stuff.
Yeah.
And so, that's just a beautiful reminder.
That we are not called to do this life alone. All right, well, that is all of our questions about the cross. Join us next week as we talk about what we believe about the resurrection and answer the questions that you send in.